He's
I
not a
wonder.
serial killer.
We gotta get the list. The list up.
You know what I mean? I want to tell you something about myself. Is like
Sure. Heck yeah.
I look to the good in people.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's a good question. But so I don't want it to be true. I don't want it to be
Yeah.
true. I want him to be
I've already
innocent.
judged
I
and
want it
juried him.
you oh, you have?
Well, I mean, I feel like, you know, they're
Well,
saying he's innocent.
the thing about when you judge and jury someone with no information is like you can change your mind.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You think he's guilty?
Well, I mean, only because he didn't respond to your email where
Yeah,
you
that's true.
asked him to come back on the show.
Yeah, that's not
Like,
cool.
bro, like, how are you gonna ignore someone that you've already been on their podcast? You've already had like a chill hang session. I'm assuming he was drinking on that show.
I
Only
don't
because I
know. You
did
know, I
that
don't
show
know.
previously and it was a little bit more like drink heavy. I know that I'm usually the only one drinking on this show, but
Yeah.
You do
those
enough.
shows previously, everybody was drinking.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he had a wine glass. That's another part of the story that just is the worst. Is that
and he was in his boxers. Like, it's so ace related, right?
yeah, I really feel for him because there's situations even now when I'm 52, no, 51. Yeah.
Bro, you
Where
just age yourself.
it might be early in the morning and I might be in my boxers only and I might be carrying an empty wine glass, but
Yeah.
I might be
You
clean.
brought it from your nightstand though. So I mean you're just like you're being efficient,
Correct.
right? And like a good
And I would be
husband. Like
doing
you don't want your
that.
wife to have to clean that up for you.
Yes, I would be doing that with good intentions, thinking there's nothing wrong with having an empty glass on the nightstand.
And then someone knocks on your door and you
Yeah, and
open
I
it.
And
yeah.
then you just want to take that bottle over
No,
their
I'll be
head. I
honest. I'll
totally
be real
understand.
honest. I'm a little bit more aware of people's these judgmental people out there that may judge
Yeah.
you if you answer your door in your
Yeah.
boxers with an empty wine glass. So I would have probably put the wine glass down.
Sure. If you had a table by your door, but if you're a single
Yeah.
bachelor, do you have that table by your door? You only have that
We have
table
like
by your
some
door
kind of
because you have a
table.
wife. Yeah.
I don't know where
Oh,
she is. She's somewhere. Go find that dog. I don't know. Okay. Love you.
oh, I love that.
Um, what were you saying?
That you
Okay.
only have a table by your door to sit your drunken night before a wine glass down on because you have a wife.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a wife, so he doesn't have that thing by the door that you throw your keys down on.
Yeah. In this case, his wife is the police. They're they're,
Yeah.
they're the ones
Yeah.
kicking down his door and asking him questions about why. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? What are you doing here?
Yep.
Like, what's your problem? You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, and
that's a
his
tough one.
friend's girlfriend. His friend's girlfriend. Tough.
Yeah, I feel like this happened in such a remote, small little part of the world that who knows really what happened. Like, not a lot of like crack detectives were first on the scene.
Is
Hmm.
this recording? Should we say what this is? That Jordan Wells
No,
was
yeah, we
on our
should. We
podcast?
haven't started recording yet.
Okay. Okay. Well,
It's episode 181, huh?
Yeah. Go ahead and start recording the audios.
I need to go get a couple drinks first.
Okay, then
okay.
let's
Should
just,
I get a drink too? I drank a
yeah,
whole
why
bottle of
not?
champagne.
Go ahead, get your refill on, whatever you have to do. I got my own setup here. I got
Sure.
some music going.
Right.
Send the
I'm gonna
mood.
dump the rest of the champagne and then I'll make a cocktail in this glass, but I'll make a small one.
You dump away whatever you have to do. I'm just
Dump
chilling.
feeling like a villain. Oh, Wilhelmina Hicks. What's the date today, Manny?
26th. Do you have some pressing matters to attend to?
No, I had some hamburger meat in the fridge that I need to put in the freezer.
Oh, nice.
Week got away from me. But I did order a steamer on TikTok, and I'm telling you right now, chef's kiss.
How many purchases do you make through TikTok?
Oh, probably too many.
Mm,
There's a sweatsuit company because I'm addicted to leisure.
okay.
That's funny, but I am. They're harassing me. Like they send me text messages, they send me TikTok. It's too much. Hold on, I gotta grab some ice. You only need a couple cubes. You baby. Yeah, I'm excited to get to steaming tomorrow. Got lots of shit to steam. Oh, buggy. Let's see, what have I ordered on the shop? I bought Kylie a little it's like a heating pad, like, but you charge it and it's
Uh-huh.
like got a strap on it and you like wear it like for period cramps. I got her that. What else have I ordered on the TikTok? Oh, dog vacuum. Like you can like brush them and then you hit a little button and it like sucks all the hair. Like so you can just brush, 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 and then you hit a button, sucks the hair, sucks the hair. Um, Tons of stuff, so many things. I love the TikTok shop.
Okay, okay. It's like, you know what? Chris can keep his Temu. I'm gonna keep my TikTok shops and just go from
Yeah,
there.
it might be the same. I don't know. TikTok shop is weird. Like sometimes when they drop stuff off, they're like, we'll send you a text message and try and call you and be like, we just dropped your stuff off. I'm like, bro, like,
Your shit's here,
where'd it
bitch.
come
Come get
from?
it.
Like, the shit, like, we're good.
Where'd you get deliveries from?
TikTok shop. They do it a little different,
TikTok
like than
shop?
Amazon. Yeah. And you
They have
could
like
be
a
a
whole
TikTok
shopping
affiliate.
experience with them.
Yeah, I'm about to do it. I feel like I'm going to be a TikTok affiliate because, like, I
This
love the stuff
feels
that I buy on there.
this feels like an ad.
I'm telling you what, though, like, it's an untapped market. And so why not tap it?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
already buying the stuff.
it's weird and scary, but I'm also a big fan of like new marketplaces and people
Yeah.
just finding new ways to make money and be
Yeah, I love
creative
it.
and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it'll be, the end of us all, but I don't know.
Feels like it's going to happen one way or another.
Yeah,
So,
you might be speeding up, slowing it down. It's hard to say.
hey, it
Hard to
would be
say.
narcissistic to think that it's all on my shoulders, right? Like,
Yeah, I think it would be yeah. Yeah.
right?
You mean it's not? Oh,
I hope not, because y'all are fucked.
I don't know. Like nothing's ever as bad as they make it seem, and nothing's ever as good as they make it seem. And
My life is good. I wake
there's
up
probably
every
like
day super grateful.
the
Just like,
majority of people like use those things to make good,
hmm.
to be
yeah.
prosperous, and there's like fringes, like small percentages that use it to grift.
Oh, I love the grifters. I didn't listen
Oh yeah, you
today.
listen.
Damn it, I love them. They're my
What do
new
you like
favorite.
about them?
I love everything about it because I've been doing the paint by numbers, which is like so relaxing. And like I put on that and it just feels like
Oh, okay, you did it
other
with them.
people are like talking in the background. Like I love them. I love them. I
Yeah,
love
they're
it. And I
special
love
too.
like
Yeah, yeah.
some lingo, like, you know, I love it. What was the word that they use? They use a word like it's old school black. What do they call that? I was like,
Super
yes,
black?
no one uses this word anymore. Like I've met some people in my life. Like you guys can't even believe the life I've lived, but I've met some people in my life And there's a word that they use that I heard when I was young, and I was just like, I don't even know what that means. But he was like an old black pimp, and that's the word that they use. And they use it all the time.
Yeah,
It's
I
not the
probably would.
drifters. Anyways, I love them. I've only listened. I
Yeah,
listened to the Thursday and then last Thursday, and I didn't listen today because I had a long day. But I'm gonna listen tomorrow, and I love them. They are my new favorite.
yeah, it's
But
a
I
good
don't know
one.
who they are. And then I googled their picture last week when we got off, and I was like, oh, I thought it was like the old black guy from that's on Fox. Like I know he's on Fox
Huh.
sometimes, but I thought like one of them was the old black guy that was on Fox, and it's not
Now,
him.
Uncle Hotep is an old guy from like somewhere in Pennsylvania, and he's my favorite.
Yeah,
Because he's not trying to be anybody but like old guy from dad from Pennsylvania.
yeah.
And I don't know if he's been on Fox before, Uncle, but
Hotep Jesus.
Hooked Up Jesus has been on Fox a few times.
Yeah.
He got famous because he did like he recorded himself going to a Starbucks and saying that he was supposed to get the coffee for free because of reparations, and he was mocking it. And the girl at the Starbucks was like, "Oh, okay, yeah. I hadn't heard of that program before, but yeah, no problem, no problem. We'll just punch in a manager's code here and set and
Here's your chai
you're good to
latte.
go." And he was just mocking it. And he went
Yeah.
by a different name back then. He was like a Muslim at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, so Hotep Jesus has gone through some changes and some phases, but Uncle
So
Hotep
I thought he was the guy that's always on Greg Gutfield's show because
Hotep
you
Jesus
know.
has been on Grey Gutfell a few times. Yeah.
And I think that I knew that, so I thought he was the guy that has like the big belt that he holds up. Like that's who I thought that was. Just listening, I only listened to 2 episodes, and then last week Bill was like I said, I'm getting into these hoteps, and
Yeah, there's Hoteps.
he said, who are they? And I said, I think it's the guy that's on Gutfield's show all the time as a thing. And then I googled it. It's like that's
Yeah.
it's a black family. Black
Uncle
family.
Hotep though, like his laugh like will make you cry. Like
Yeah,
it's when he starts
I'm in.
laughing at something, it's just like
You had
I
me at
just can't
hello.
I just can't
Mhm.
like it's
What
so
is
damn
the
funny.
word? Yeah, I'll think of it.
Anyway, did we start this episode yet? I don't think we
I don't
did.
think
No, go
so.
ahead and start the audio, and we'll.
Let's tag the Hoteps in this though, because I like them. I do. I'm a fan.
All
I
right,
like
three,
it.
two, one. Let's go.
Good evening, Endless Ranters. Welcome back for episode 181 of your Endless Ranters podcast. We do what we want. We appreciate your support. My name is Chris. I'm just a mostly peaceful dad from North Texas
Mhm.
and one of your hosts for this evening. I'm joined by another host. It's a soggy mom living in a crunchy mom's world. Kwana, how you doing?
And that's me. Christopher, I'm gonna shoot this
Mhm.
back to you. How are you doing? Do you have to like take arms and like charge to the border?
I'm
Like
always
what's
fine.
your position in
Yeah, I
Texas?
don't think
Like,
we're ready for that yet.
okay,
Not ready for
minivans
that
have
yet.
not
Waiting for the
joined
call.
the run.
Waiting for the call. Yeah, I got a camo wrap in the garage for my minivan that's ready to go,
You
ready to
should
be
start like a
applied.
minivan alliance of thugs charging the border, right?
I'm not
Yeah,
really
Minivan,
sure.
think about
minivans
it.
and mini bikes is what he's going to be rolling around in.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get on any of the lists, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's all kinds of like Texas is a big place. That's all. It's a big place. There's a lot of
Yeah,
places in Texas that are ungovernable. Like
feels like it.
it's going to take a lot of drones to cover a lot of areas. So who knows what's going on down here? But yeah, that's the big
That's what I
story.
keep thinking about. Like, if a civil war breaks out, like, will I know? Like, will I still be able to go to the market? Like, is it going to be directly in my neighbor? Like, it feels like when you see war in the movie, because I just watched Napoleon. I'm sure I mentioned it, but like, they're just like charging, but it's like on one area. Like, I feel like I could drive away from that and be, you know,
It's really hard to say what it would be like
yeah.
because my personal belief, and I don't think it's good because it doesn't really put people in good maybe it just doesn't paint a good picture is that like there's certain area, like there's plenty of areas of the country that'll never be affected by any of this.
Right.
Um, there's too much money and property and revenue at stake to have our entire country like go into turmoil. Like they will make sure that if there is turmoil, that'll be like localized and in certain areas, maybe South Texas, Arizona, whatever, um, the streets of a city in the Northeast or something, but they'll make sure it's localized. Maybe it's Seattle.
Let's hope it's not where
They can have a
Manny's at.
chop or Chaz zone. Like do I have a chop and Chaz zone in my backyard right now? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm not sure if it's going to be chop or Chaz. It's like every day I go back and forth. Like Chaz sounds pretty cool. In my backyard, it's a chop or Chaz zone. What is it called? Like the
Not to
Capitol
be
Hill,
not to be
Capitol
confused with
Hill
the
occupation protest, like
oh, is that what it was?
or like Capitol Hill Alliance Zone,
Remember when
something like that. But yeah.
let's say hi to Manny first.
And then there is the man with the plan. This is fine. It's Manny. It's producer Manny. What's going down? This is
Hola
fine.
todos.
This is
Good
fine.
to be here. ¿Cómo están? Gracias. Bienvenidos. Hasta luego.
Como
Thank you.
están? Is
Thanks
that
for
like a
reminding us.
Pakistani view? Como están? What's that? What's that mean? That
I'm asking the
different?
people, how are they doing?
It's a new face of
Oh,
Al Qaeda. Oh, or that. Or a friendly greeting.
Indeed, a friendly greeting.
That's what if you're gonna form a terrorist group in the Middle East, you need to just call them Hola.
yeah.
Or like Buenos Dias.
Oh.
Like what? What is this? Doesn't
Like
seem very threatening.
Seems rather well.
They seem pretty nice. I mean,
warm
they
and
must have
welcoming.
like, like kind of hungry for breakfast now.
I do
I
too.
have a hunger for breakfast. I make a perfect hash brown. Telling you right now.
Stop. We can't. We have a.
Come to our group. I will post a picture. I make a perfect hash brown. Manny can tell you.
Yeah, once you
Like none other.
once you do the work to hash the browns or
I do
like
it.
to shred the potato
Mm-hmm.
and you just you gotta let it sit, you gotta let it ride on the griddle. You gotta let it ride.
At a perfectly, it's not too hot, not too low. Like you gotta let it go. I love it.
Yeah.
Bill came home the other day because I like to feed him first and then I'll feed myself after. But he like had been fed and then he came back and was seeing me feed myself and he's like, "What is this delicious offering you make for yourself?"
Yeah.
It's like hash browns. You want to try some of
Yeah,
this?
like hash brown because he likes what he likes, so I just make him what he likes every day. But what I
Mhm.
make for myself varies, and it's different levels of deliciousness. I mean, sometimes it's very involved. So he's
And
like, "What
sometimes
is
it's girl
this?"
dinner.
Yeah. So he's like, "Wow, these hash browns." I'm like, "Yep, I
Oh,
mastered it."
I know that we're having a great time. At least I am personally talking about hash browns, but there is a hypothetical that I wanted to pose to Chris that was inspired by our discussion in the happy hour before we got the show on the road. By the way, for those of you listening, feel free to join Endless Ranters Facebook group, and then from there you could hop on the happy hours every Friday most of the time.
Win
So
money,
fun. We get
win
drunk.
big prizes.
Yep,
Yeah.
Big
win big
prizes. Big prizes, big money.
Yeah,
and lose a lot of self-worth in the process. But anyway,
of
Yeah.
course.
what would you do if your son came home one day and he had a giant Sharpie dick drawn on his face? If he was caught slipping at the local party, at the local party, sleepover, what
Yeah,
have
I'd be
you.
real disappointed, real disappointed. I'd be like, I'd be like, how many times have I told you? How many times have I told you?
Papa Notos.
Like I've shown you pictures from, back in the day, my friends, like I've told you, like this is what's gonna happen. I've told you. I'd be
Yeah.
very upset because I would have gone into very like detail about this is exactly what's gonna happen to you if you're a lightweight.
Mm.
Yeah. It's hard when you see your kids
So,
like
but
just
I
fall
wouldn't,
into
there'd be no
stupid
physical,
shit.
no physical contact, no, beatings or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just a lot of disappointment expressed.
Facially, probably just like,
Facially yelling, I
Oh,
don't,
okay, yeah. Yeah, full on.
just no,
Okay.
no hitting,
Probably,
no
of
beatings.
course.
I forgot that Quana, you also have a son. Did he ever come home with any dicks on the face?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, no,
I
no.
would also, I
No,
would also
luckily no.
be, Yeah, I mean, I'd also be like, like, don't you have the sense to like scrub that off? Like, you don't even show up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disappear. Like, I'd rather be calling the police station than you come home.
I feel like my son was like the drawer of the dicks on the face. Like if
Yeah.
there was a
Yeah.
thing,
Like, that's what I'd be like. I taught you to be the drawer.
yeah, exactly.
Like, why did I get you that whiteboard? Why? You know?
I always felt he probably felt like I had like a tracker in him. And I used to tell him, I said, I got a tracker in your butt. Before there was like trackers, before you could put like one of those iPod things in their shoe, I used to tell him, I have a tracker in your butt. And I could always find him. Like he would say, oh, I would say, he would ask, can I walk home from school? And I'd say, yes, but take the back streets, don't walk on the main street. And then I would say, let's drive the main street. And there would be my son with all his hoodlum friends walking on the main street, not on the back street. So
Of
like
course, they
always had
wouldn't
like
listen.
a little bus. I could find him. Yeah. Boys are interesting.
I'm
They're like
my son. I'm more like, like, I don't know.
yeah.
My girls, I take that more at that attitude of like, no, you stay out in the open. You don't take side streets. My son, I'm just like, yeah, you need to lay low.
Pretend you're on
Well,
the
I
run
just
from the
want to
law.
get run over, like walk through the
Oh
neighborhood
yeah.
as
Yeah. I had that
opposed to like
conversation.
be on the streets, crossing the
Yeah.
big streets.
Yeah. My son, we got him a mini bike over Christmas. So I was telling him this morning, specifically this morning, that because he can ride his motorcycle. Like he has to cross one semi major road and then through a neighbor and he can get to a CVS.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
So he's got cash. He can get to himself to a CVS, but he's not supposed to leave the neighborhood, like our specific subdivision.
Right.
But he does anyway. Yeah, but
Well, they
I was
put
telling
those
Does
him
he need to lay
today, like,
off?
CVSs right at the edge. They put them right at the edge of a
but I
subdivision.
was
Like
telling him, like,
the streets will be the same.
you need to be aware that when you go outside of our neighborhood, like you could get run over. In our neighborhood, no one wants to run neighborhood kids over. Everybody's real careful. But once you get on the streets, once
There
you get
might
on,
be
I was
people that
like,
want to run you over.
no one wants to run you over in this, but like once you get on the streets, it's like people are texting.
Yeah,
They're like fighting with their
true.
friend, fight with their boyfriend on the, on the phone. Like then they just run you over,
Yeah. I had that red scooter and our dad had that same like mantra and he would make us wear helmets and we would put them on and then we would drive down the street and we would throw them into the neighbor's yard and then put them back on when we came back
Well,
through.
these kids
But
now, yeah, they got helmets. They got like real aggressive looking helmets and like blacked out
yeah,
goggles. So they're like,
sure.
they want to wear them because they want
He was
everybody to be
making
like,
us wear his old like racing helmets. Like it was like blue sparkles with like the chin strap. Like we we wore them out of the driveway and then like three houses down we would just chuck them into
yeah.
their yard.
Now
Yeah.
what Amazon sells a bunch of like kids safety equipment that's like just aggressively painted, like
Yeah.
skulls and like
It's
fire
probably
and like,
good though. It's probably good because it makes them keep it on. Like we just thought he was a joke and we thought his equipment was a joke and we were just like,
yeah.
fuck your equipment.
So
We're
we got
out.
to make this look as aggressive as possible, as to
Yeah.
instill
My scooter
fear.
was a single rider too, and my girl was on the back. Like we left, we were like
You were
wrapped her.
the
Yeah,
Lyft, the Uber driver, whatever you want to
we
say.
were riding. We there was two of us on it for sure. Always,
Yeah.
everywhere we went. Yeah, but we couldn't go on like the fast roads. We went on the like back streets, which like that's what I was telling my son. Drive the back streets. Like you're not gonna get in trouble back there.
That's just going to encourage him to do some more shady shit, if anything.
Yeah, but
If you say it
I
like
mean,
that,
is
like,
it
hey,
legal for him to be on the roads with his motorbike?
no, that's a good
Yes.
surefire way for you to have your kid thrown in the foster system
You're not
away from
supposed to
you.
be, yeah, these bikes aren't street legal, supposedly.
Right. So he
But
should be
no one
paying
in
the
the
tax.
neighborhood. Yeah, I was telling that too. Like, yeah, if you're on these roads, you might get, some cop might decide to
Confiscate your bike.
make an example and like, we're just going to pay $600 or something to get your bike back. Don't do
Yeah.
that. But in the neighborhood, they're not going to care.
Have you told
But
your
it's a good
children?
lesson. It's a good lesson in laws matter here. Laws
Yeah,
matter don't matter. Like, that's a good
right.
lesson, like realizing where like the like you can cross a line and laws don't matter, do matter. And
Here's also what you need to tell your children, and I have told both of my children this because they might be afforded some white privilege. They're both blonde, but I've told them that it's not exactly they're poor. Like they drive poor cars, their cars are busted. Like that is really what law enforcement's looking for. Like it's not
mm-hmm.
just that like
Can you put up a
you're
fight legally?
you're poor. So they're going to give you a ticket, you're going to get pulled over more. So you know, you got to like establish that and like
Yeah.
know in your head that this is a thing that might happen to you. So I've let my children know that for a long time. It's not about
Yeah, it really is. Like I get into these
like they can see
battles,
that it's your car that they're pulling over.
I get into these, some of these kind of scrapes on the internet uh each week about that type of thing, about race and whatever. And it's like really not like, and people start throwing about like graphics with race and earnings and
Right.
this and that. But it's like, that's dumb because if you really just kind of broke it down by not by color, but just by like socioeconomic background, like how much money did your parents make? Where'd you
Right.
grow up? Like that's kind of what dictates what happens to you, not
Yeah.
your color of your skin, but it's like there's a lot of successful people that just kind of came from parents that had some money that were able to like kind of provide a safety net and make sure they went to college and it didn't really matter what color they're gonna be fine.
That
It's
traffic stuff
really
though
that's
is
what it
like a
is. It's
business
really
though, right? Like it feels like that's like
well, yeah,
aside
because
from
it's
like
like
excessive speeding.
they're looking at like yeah, who like this person definitely does not have cannot get an attorney.
Right.
So they're just going to pay the $330. They'll figure out a way. They'll like be
Right.
late on their rent or
Yep.
they'll have their electric bill like close to getting cut off to come up with the $330 to pay this ticket.
Or they
Yep.
won't
And they
need.
will not, they can't afford to skip a day of work and show up in court.
Yes.
So this seems like a real, just like a real easy way for me to write this ticket and get my points and
Yes.
go about my day. Whereas this guy in the Mercedes might have an attitude and then like,
Right.
like I might have an attitude back and it may not
Driving
work
while
out. It may
poor.
not work
It
out
might
for me.
also be driving while black, but also driving while poor. Like be
Yeah.
aware that like they're looking for you. So, you know,
Yeah. I would guess that if you're black and you're driving like a shitty beater, like you're a million times more likely to be pulled over than if you're black and you're driving like just a nice car, just like a nice
I think
car,
they're looking at the cars. Yeah, for
like
sure.
just like a late model minivan. You're going to be fine because they just,
And rightfully so. Like if a car has bad tires, like my daughter's old car just literally broke like a timing belt on the freeway, which could have been catastrophic, you know? So yes, old cars, yes. So
but
rightfully
I say
so.
that I don't really like to simplify these things because these interactions that happen are there's so many variables. Like how many years has that cop been on the job?
Right.
Where did they grow up? Right?
Sure.
Did they grow up like in a bubble, or did they grow up like
Right.
in with like real
With
people
a
dealing with real
NASCAR dad.
stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, or like where did they like? Were they having a bad day? Is their wife good to them that morning? Like nice to them
Right.
or mean to
Did
them
you
that
get
morning?
breakfast? Yeah.
With their kids, were their little like runt kids like
Well,
like
they're just people too, like
decent?
Corolla says, or like the least of
There's a
whatever you
lot of
graduate high school
variables.
with,
Yeah, there's a
for
lot of
sure.
variables. Like, yeah, did that cop win his varsity championship or lose the
Yeah.
varsity championship?
My
Like,
daughter's her first boyfriend, he wanted to be a CHP so bad. And like last I heard, like four times failed the test. Like,
yeah,
but
like,
now maybe on the force, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't want to oversimplify it because it's like there's definitely dudes that go out there and they're like, I want to be a cop because I just want to like, just want to be in a
fix it
position of authority and all that,
for
It's like,
sure.
so it's like that definitely is a factor in it.
Yeah. Bless him.
Hmm.
God bless him. God bless that. I back the blue. Sorry if that's offensive to anybody.
There were
But you know
times,
what? If
not
shit goes
anymore.
down, that's who you're calling. I'm sorry. I've had shit go down. I've had shit go down in my house where the only people that you can call is 911. For me personally, I had shit go down last week and I called my neighbor. But like normally if shit goes down, you're gonna call 911 and you want them to come. So that is universal. That is not, and people who don't address that, fuck you, you're wrong. You've never had something go down. Shit goes down, you're calling that number and you want them to come
Hmm.
protect you, bring their guns. Uh, if somebody kicked in my door right now, like, what am I going to do? Oh, I care about whatever. No, I want somebody to come and help me deal with this, you
Hmm.
know? So,
Yeah, that's a tough one. Just because, yeah, that is the case. If you, well, it depends where you live, but if I call, like, yeah, there's probably going to be a real rapid response.
yeah, hopefully. Yeah,
But then at the same time, I know like there's places where if you call, like, there's not going to be a rapid response. It's going to be real slow, and so
yeah,
it's a tough one.
yeah,
It's a tough one because even in this area, and things are going pretty well in this area, you do like, I don't know. There's a lot of construction in my area right now.
Hmm.
And what I notice is that when I was a kid, when I was younger growing up, and there'd be construction, there'd be like a lot of precautions. And I noticed there's a lot
yeah,
of construction with zero precautions now. Like
That's
that's
yeah.
that's not in the budget.
They wanted us kept out, and now kids are inside, so they don't have to keep anyone out.
I
I
just
mean,
mean
we
like
used
I
to
drive
catch
around
fires.
here and
Yeah,
there's like the road signs, but they're like hanging out into the lane that you're driving in. You're just like, man, that's like hanging out into the, like if I'm not careful, like I could hit that with my windshield.
sure.
So they just put like the barriers, like the things they put up to protect them while they're doing the sidewalk or whatever. They just like starting to like hang over into the street.
Sure.
And then they have these areas that are like heavy construction, but they don't paint, and they're like changing road directions all the time, but they don't put up signs. And like this is in the suburbs. I don't know what's going on
What's
about
going
that.
on with the people that they're hiring on these crews, man? It doesn't sound like they're,
No, I
have your
feel like
best.
everything is going to be less. Like, for whatever reason, and I might be guilty of it too, I feel like we're not telling our kids stuff. Like,
There's a
there's
just I'll
stuff that
just
our kids don't know. Like, I don't know why we knew the things that we know, but I feel like there's so many things that like my kids don't know. Like, just stuff that was like maybe, I mean, my daughter once asked why are you calling them spare ribs? Are they extra? That's
yeah.
a failure on my part, right? Like,
Well, I don't
what?
know because that's a no, that man, you want to get into like how you talk about ribs, like yeah. Let's talk about how we talk about spare ribs, St. Louis ribs, all that. It is very confusing the terms that they use for these ribs.
Burnt ends.
But still, like,
Right.
he asked me, what's mothball soup? What's mothball soup? Like,
Mothball.
mm-hmm,
That sounds like some of the
yeah,
worst soup omelet I've ever
bro,
heard of ever.
right?
It's like, hold on, I gotta go
She
to the
heard
closet,
about
get
it.
some ingredients for
She
some
heard about
mothball
it.
soup.
Yeah.
She wouldn't even know what a mothball is, but wanted to know what it was. Yeah, like I think that we are failing them on some level.
Oh.
I've always said that, like,
We are,
it
but
freaked me
those are
out that, like, I am teaching them everything. Like, I could tell them that brushing their teeth is picking apples. Like, they wouldn't know if they thought this was picking apples. Like, you could teach them anything. These people that are in your home that are so little, like, you can indoctrinate them into anything.
That's
Obviously, I did
why
the right thing, but I'm just saying it always just freaked me out that, like, we are teaching them, but we're not on the same level that they don't know these things. Like, the things that they don't know because we haven't told them, like, you got to check your tire pressure, or like all of the things that maybe our dad told us or that were just in the atmosphere we knew about. like where the clamps go on a
Yeah.
battery when you're charging. Like they have no idea because no one has said that this is important for you to fucking know so that you can exist in the world. How do you put chains on your tires?
You're
Like
making a
these are
good argument for waiting until you're older to have kids. Because I
Mm.
feel like I started having kids when I was later in life.
sure.
So
I
they're like
didn't.
they're getting to the age where they're listening when I'm getting into like old codger stage
Yeah,
where
yeah.
I'm like
My
real
kids are
focused
winging it
where
with me.
yeah, where I'm real focused on like tire pressure and safety and locking doors, windows,
Yes,
paying attention to
you're
your
right.
environment. I'm in like 50-year-old man
For
stage and
sure.
they're like just now getting to the stage where it's like maybe I should listen to this
Yeah,
guy that keeps yelling all the time at stuff about
yeah,
stuff like maybe
sure.
yeah. So
I just learned how to
according to
put
like
air in
if
my
you're like
tires. How
younger,
would
if
they
you're
know?
younger, you're just like, hey, yeah, let's have fun. Let's party. Like like
Fuck our
come along for
tire
this
pressure.
ride. I like what should you eat? I don't know. Why are you asking me? I'm barely older than you. I'm at the stage where my kids ask me a question. I'm just like,
Yeah,
sit
you're
down.
right.
Sit down and start taking notes. Get a notebook out and make sure your pen has got a full thing of ink.
Yep.
Full thing of
My
ink.
son's first sentence was an Alanis Morissette lyric for sure.
Yeah, it's better. Like, yeah. So that's an advantage my kids will have. It's like
Yeah,
I'm fully on to like
thank
yelling
the
and
Lord.
yeah,
Yeah, screaming. This is how you shovel snow,
that's right.
bitch.
Yeah, like what do you yeah, like this is how you load a dishwasher.
Oh, we know you don't know how to do that, but yeah, that
Hmm.
was cute. That was funny.
What this is like when you attack me and try to call me a Karen a couple weeks ago. Let me explain to you something about a dishwasher.
Oh,
Oh, here
please
we go.
do. Please do.
If people
Addie,
cared about
Addie,
the
are you
world,
listening to this? Addie,
if people
wait.
cared about this world, they would take videos of me loading a dishwasher because I do it with an efficiency. I was going to say of a German, but I shouldn't say it like that.
I
Say
didn't need proof.
it
Pictures
would
or
be
it didn't
like
happen.
I load a dishwasher like an IKEA engineer would load a dishwasher.
Same,
When I put the
same.
utensils in the basket, all the utensils go in the same basket.
Say less, brother.
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
what?
Like,
Oh, all spoons, all forks, all knives?
yes, you heard me.
Wow. I am color
Yeah,
me impressed. You know what? Men don't
you tried to
normally
blow me
impress
off
me. I'm gonna
earlier.
be
You were
honest.
like, you were trying to be really condescending. I noticed
That
that.
is impressive.
Yeah, you were trying to like,
Wow.
yeah, you're trying to like,
Wow. Wow.
I got your vibe. But
Wow.
as I've said before,
I take it back.
I
I
think I
eat my
talked
words.
to Jaden about this is a major life hack. Like if when you load the dishwasher, I try to train my family on this,
Oh
but
my God.
it's a
That's
struggle.
so smart.
You
Then you
put
just put it
all
all
the
away at once. You don't have to like it
you
cuts
just grab like
7 seconds off of it.
you
All
grab
in
all
the
the things
spoon,
like it's a
all in
bouquet
the
of
knife.
flowers, but it's all forks.
Fuck. For
Yep.
fuck's sake. This is perfect.
You reach down, you grab it. Is it a bouquet of carnations? No, it's all your forks.
Wow.
It's
I
all your
have
spoons.
never, you know what? That's a life hack. You should put that up. That's a life
I've
hack.
already
That's a
done
goddamn
this.
life hack.
Oh,
I'm
listen.
sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't hear that episode. Or if I did, because I'm so fucking old, I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going through menopause.
No,
Men
I'm
oh
like real
pause.
good
What
at
about that name? Men on pause, basically. What?
She's ignoring us.
patriarchy wins again.
What the fuck? Oh, they like mapped it out. Men on pause? No, I say fuck that. Fuck that. Men on not pause.
Be honest, this whole subject makes me uncomfortable.
I'm sorry.
That's all
We
right.
were
We could
talking about
change it to
we were
something.
talking
It's
about
okay.
dishwashing.
I mean,
We were talking about dishwashing.
I don't like things framed against men.
Let's talk about Carrie Lake.
Mhm.
Is that where we're going with this?
Oh
Let
yeah,
me
we're
get
gonna
my
start the
list up.
list now. Carrie Lake.
Sure. Yeah.
Did y'all hear this?
No, what's Carrie Lake been up to lately?
So about a year ago, when she was thinking about running for the Senate seat in Arizona, a Republican the head of the Republican Party came to her house. I know a little bit more about this than the recording because she came on Megyn Kelly.
Mhm.
I'm a big Megyn Kelly fan now.
Yeah.
Big listener.
Like 3 weeks ago, you were like, I'm not sure about her. And now you're like,
No, I'm just
big
kidding.
fan.
Can't get
Huge
off her
fan.
job.
I just feel it feels weird listening to her, but she does a good job. But anyway, she had Carrie Lake on, and she was talking about why she recorded this conversation because the guy called her, the head of the Republican Party in Arizona called her and was like, "I'm in your neighborhood. I'm about to turn in. I need to talk to you in person to person.
I
Can't be
got
over the
this dank
phone."
ass weed. We got a sesh.
Yeah, so she was like, "Oh, that sounds kind of well." When
Interesting.
maybe she's a master con artist. I'm thinking she's not, but the way she tells the story is that she was in her house when this phone call came in. She was like, that sounds kind of sketchy. Because at this point, she had lost the race for governor.
Mm-hmm.
She was basically a private citizen, and the head of the Republican Party of Arizona calls her and says, I must talk to you in person, not on the phone. So, as she tells the story, she recorded the conversation. And I urge everyone, look it up yourself, listen to, maybe go to Megyn Kelly if you want a source or whatever, or
Yeah.
go to the internet to find the original video if you want to go all that. But, and it's really a damning conversation where this guy he's a Republican. He's probably conservative. He probably like agrees with a lot of things I agree with, but he is having a real inappropriate conversation with Carrie Lake about how she should drop out and how there's big money people out east that want her to drop out. And at one point, I'm going to misquote him, but at one point he asks her something like, he says something like, and he kind of tries to joke about it, but he says something like, well, hey, what's your number?
Yeah.
Like he's literally asking her, like,
Yeah.
what's it going to
Because she
take?
was like, no, I would never do that. He's like, but
Yeah.
maybe
And then she
counter
knew she was
offer. Like, I
recording
don't want
and
to do this. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So the criticisms of her is she sounds kind of like a pro, but you got to remember she was like an Arizona TV station news anchor for 27 years or something like that.
She
So
sounds like a pro. She's not
she is a pro.
baiting him. He's
Right.
literally putting an offer on the table. He's like,
Yeah,
that's,
her response is like, why do they want to pay me to sit out? Why don't they want to partner with me? That is what
yeah.
she said. She said they
Did
should
you
want to
hear the
partner with
Nikki
me.
Haley thing? There's like a video of her talking about her Democratic, like she's being funded by the Democrats. And she like said it, like and maybe it'll get blocked, but there's like video of her talking about a Democratic donor, and there's a Republican guy that's standing next to her that's like supposed to be supporting her, and she's talking about Democratic donors, and you can see his face go like, what? So, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, she's a phony, but it's like
Yeah.
that's a good comparison between her and someone like Carrie Lake, who's they try to make her out
Yeah.
to be like a kook.
But she's not. She's like for the people,
Yeah,
for this country.
they try to make her out to be like a sellout,
Yeah.
but then they try to make Nikki Haley the poster woman for sellout, kook, loon,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call her.
Disingenuous.
They try to make
Just at the start
her
of it.
they try to
Like
make
her
her to be the
nationality
patriot.
that she's denying, right? Like that's
Yeah.
weird.
They try to make her out to be the patriot,
Yeah.
and they try to make it
She
out
doesn't have lips. She has no lips.
yeah,
It's weird.
but the lady
That's a weird thing to notice.
the lady that's been a newscaster, like just sitting there at a desk every night for the nightly news for 27 years, she's some kind of like extremist now.
Yeah.
But Nikki Haley is just a regular lady.
Just a normal gal.
Yeah, the conversation is like it's really horrible. It's kind of a good conversation between her and Megyn Kelly because the way she tells the story, she tells it like she can't believe. Like the way she
Yeah.
tells the story is that she recorded it because she thought it was weird, but she didn't listen to the
Sure.
recording for a long time.
She did say this has been out there for 11 months and she's been
But
trying
she's
to
been
get
talking
people to
about it.
pick it
Yeah.
up.
She
Right.
said she talked about it without naming names, without playing a
Mhm.
recording. she's been
Yeah.
talking about how a high level Republican came to her with an offer from people in the East to have her drop out, and no one listened. But when she played,
Yeah.
but when the audio drops, people listen.
It's
Again,
interesting
not to
because
bring
they
it
say
back.
that go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, not to bring it back to football, but Baltimore Ravens,
Always bringing it back to the Ravens.
Baltimore
Yeah.
Ravens, NFL winning Super Bowl team, Ray Rice, NFL winning Super
Can't
Bowl
wait.
running
Oh,
back.
Ray Rice, is that the guy in the elevator?
Yes,
I love
Ray
that.
Rice.
Go ahead.
When there was only a written police report
Mm-hmm.
that said that he struck his wife in the elevator and she
Allegedly.
fell down.
Allegedly.
No,
Allegedly.
no, the
We
police
saw a
report,
video. Yeah,
the
there's
police
video.
report said the police report from the officer said that he saw the video of him striking his wife and knocking her down an elevator, and he
Yeah.
was just suspended for a little while.
Sure.
Even though the police report of what this police officer saw in the video was in written form and everybody saw it, he was suspended.
Right.
When the video came out and everybody actually saw the video of him striking his wife and her falling down, he was out of the league forever. So it's like, it's
Right.
weird. It's a weird thing with humans that you can read something that's happened and it's horrible. And you're just like, oh, okay. We
Right.
should, like 10 years in prison. And then it's like, you see the video and just like life in prison.
Isn't it the same
It's a
with that
weird thing
Asian
that like we can,
Carol lady though? When you see the picture, you're just like, maybe not guilty.
yeah. I think it's
Same,
unfair
same
because
diff.
I think I've seen pictures of her when like in the 80s and she was like,
Oh, come on, really? All right.
yes.
Do you
Well, I
say
mean,
so?
it's kind of a, I mean, and seriously, it's kind of like, I don't know that I don't think Trump did this. I could think it's very
Right.
bogus that she's getting paid, like she's supposed to get paid all this money, but it's like, it
It's
is
so
kind of
crazy.
weird that they keep showing pictures of her in 2023. Like this happened in 1988 or whatever it was. So
No,
it's like,
she
I
posted
think
a picture of
she
herself
did
and
not.
said, "This is the outfit that I was wearing when he assaulted me." And then the designer of the outfit was like, "No,
Oh
that
yeah,
was
she's a
not. That was
liar.
way after."
No, I know
And then,
I
yeah,
think, yeah, there's a lot of holes in her story. I'm just saying they keep posting pictures of her and they'll say like Trump said that this woman was not her type. And they show her when she's 80.
I love that last night he posted 35 tweets in an 8-hour
Mm.
span,
Boy's on
just like
fire.
about her. 30.
Yeah.
Had her on her mind.
I'm not on X. I'm 35 X's. I'm not on X, but wow. Like, bless his heart. He's just up all night. I just picture him eating fried chicken, just
Fueled by anger and fried chicken.
Xing. He's just Xing all night long, just no
Yeah, I
sleep.
do
He's
try
one of those
to
guys like Joe Rogan that needs like 5 hours of sleep. He's like, fuck this, I'm gonna X all night.
I do like yeah, you do have to try to I try to like I try to put myself in other people's positions and try to relate as much as I can. I really do. So I try to put
Yeah.
myself in a position where I was like, were there times in my life where I was just under siege? Like from like
Oh
not
my God,
not from the national media, but from everyone in my life. Like, yeah.
bro.
A man under siege.
Yeah.
The story I could
And
tell
it's like,
you.
do you go into a
Crazy.
certain mentality when you're in that situation? You sure do.
Yeah, you do.
Like you start
Fight or
fucking
flight. That's fucking fight or flight.
you
You're
start circling the wagons in your own mind and it's like
yeah.
you go places. So it's like, yeah, yeah. I just try to understand where people are at when they're under siege or maybe like being celebrated,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and everybody's clapping for you. You just try to imagine like, yeah, that's gotta feel good. And it's like you gotta same thing as you gotta like put yourself in the place of someone that's just under siege and being accused of everything. And it's like, oh, that
Yeah.
does not that'll put you in some weird places.
It- Bro,
Cause you to think
yeah.
some weird thoughts.
Bless his heart. Oh, you gotta pray for him.
But yeah, but at the same time, I think it's unfair that there's like people are posting things like, would Trump do this? And it's like they post a picture of the lady when she's 80 and decrepit. Like it's like
Like, I see what you did
she looked a
there.
She looked
little
good
different.
today. When
She
she
looked
walked out of the courtroom, she looked good today. I
Yeah, I
remember
mean she
reading
only
her
had to be held up by two
her
people, but it's like it's cool. It's cool.
yeah.
Like they had her walker in the background.
Yeah. I feel like,
They
he'll
removed the
appeal this
oxygen,
till she dies
the
and
clear
then
oxygen tubes in her nose. They took those off for the photo.
no, she's still vibrant. She's still talking about her
So petty.
vagine. She's talking about her vagine still. She's still in the mix.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, you're
Don't
right.
count
I'm
her out.
joking, but you know,
Yeah. She's
but it's like, in all fairness, she probably looked a little different in the 80s,
for sure. For
but again,
sure.
there's no like
But it's weird
our
to think
legal
that
system
he went
requires
in and
some
just
kind of
raped her in
evidence. Yeah.
yeah.
Our legal system does still require evidence. That's
What's so fucked up about this, and I'm going to tell you right now, and this will be the last thing I say about it,
You can't go to
is that
jail because everybody hates you. Like that's not a like this.
if you Google the amount of untested, Google this, the amount of untested rape kits in the United States of America, it's outstanding. The number is in like the hundreds of thousands of untested rape kits. So imagine you're raped and then you have to go to the hospital and they take all of your clothes. Maybe it's your favorite outfit. It's gone. It's in an evidence bag. And then they like comb your hairs and they swab you for fluids. And then they bag it all up and they label it. And then they don't even test it to find a person that it could be with. That's what I mean by untested. There's
Yeah, that's
hundreds of
crazy. That's
thousands of
terrible.
untested. So if we act like we care about it, then we should actually care about it. Just saying.
Well, that's disturbing. I have to think about that because it's so to me that's like, is there like a don't really want to do it, or is there a capacity problem? There's just not enough labs to test these things, or is it like
They don't
what the
care.
fuck?
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't
It's
care.
so
Yeah, I get that.
common. It's so common.
But it's like
It,
when you say they don't care, it's like if they did care, they would start building more labs or more this or more that or
But that
like
would cost money,
Manny,
Chris.
Manny, did you Google the number of the amount? Like it's a real number. The Olivia Benson
yeah,
lady
but I
from
want to
the
know why. I
SVU, like
want to know
she has a
why.
whole. I would like to know why too. I would really like to know why too.
Because is it like a because there are going to be reasons why, like why it didn't get funded, built, whatever, like why there's just like no one gets hired or there's someone standing in the way of it or
It's a huge
I
deal.
don't know.
They do it. So if you have this happen to you, if you have this crime happen to you,
Or
the
is it
procedures are in place of what they do. They collect evidence, they comb, they
you
swab,
would
they
have to
do all
look
the
at like
things.
things like was there a time where there were enough what there where there was enough capacity to test all those things and
No.
then all of a sudden Harvey Weinstein came about like and then then there wasn't a capacity like what change like what like you have to really like take an earnest look at like why is that because I
Well,
believe
that's
you
rich to do it.
it's like what like yeah that's a problem that's a fucking problem
Yeah.
so
That
if I
not a
believe
lot of
you
people
it's
talk
like it's a
about or know.
problem
No,
and
it's a
like
real thing. I'm not making that up.
let's get
That's a
at
real
it
thing. We should.
and
As a
it's like
nation, we should.
and then
If we're going
again
to
it's
pretend
like
like we care about rape in another country,
yeah
we
and
should
then
pretend like we
again
care about rape in our own country because women are getting raped all the time. Like the stop the raping, like that should be a movement. Like let's like teach our boys to stop the raping, please.
well then we
You
get
know?
into a negative place where it's like we care more about Ukraine than
Yeah,
building like
we
like
do.
testing labs in the United States or like having
Is
police.
it about testing labs? Manny, can you see that? Is it about testing labs?
Uh,
He's
um,
like, I'm too high for this shit.
it's not about lack of labs. I'm still looking up the numbers, by the way.
Or is it lack of funding because it like you have to have a budget to like be able to pay for sending that to the lab or it's like you don't have a UPS budget to send the samples off or like what's the
The Google question is how many untested rape kits currently exist in the United States? It's a lot. Like they just aren't
yeah but
testing
like
them to like
again
find
it's
the
like
people.
you say a lot but it's like I agree that's a real problem so like the next step is like all right let's get into like what the fuck? What's the holdup? What's
Right.
the problem? So
Right.
it's like agreed problem. What's the like?
Yes.
Let's get into it. And then if we get into it, and it's like starts to get into like a lot of gray areas and a lot of like we get
But
so
it
really
shouldn't.
it's
That
really
should
hard
be
to
like a
figure
cut
out
and dry
why.
thing. Anyone with a daughter should be like, oh, that's a cut and dry thing. Like that should be cut and dry. Like
Mhm.
this happened and there's a test and we have the DNA of this person. So let's test it and see if he's within the national database and maybe he's done this before. Let's catch him. It's not
Yeah, I guess
happening.
I'd have to learn a lot more about this.
I'm sorry, that's probably deeper. But Olivia
Yeah.
Benson, she has like the whole foundation for it. It's a real thing. I
Hmm.
don't even know how we got started. Sorry.
I mean, you tell me that that's a threat, I'm listening.
Yeah,
And it's like,
of
let's get
course.
into it. Like
Yes.
I don't want to fuck around and like talk about this or that, like the results. I want to talk about it. Let's get into it.
Yeah,
Let's start
it
stopping some
should.
people. Like let's start
Yeah, making a difference, which
yeah,
no one's
let's
doing.
stop like paying for Ukraine to, let's stop like giving Ukraine
Yeah,
$200 billion to like defend their borders and let's start
yeah,
fucking like stomping out criminals here. I'm
yeah.
down. I'm down.
Everybody's
But
worried
I don't think,
about
like my
Taylor
point is like I don't
Swift.
think there's really I don't think there's really like a consensus in America to like stop these things. You know what I mean?
No,
It's like, eh.
like I said, everyone's worried about
People are
Taylor
just like,
Swift and
is the
her
writer
fake
strike
AI
over?
baby, her
Is the
fake
writers
AI black baby.
it's like, is the writer strike over? Is the yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
all the nonsense. Crazy.
but yeah, Carrie Lake, yeah, there's a really like people should look that up because it's a really it's like if you're watching a blockbuster political thriller drama, bribery, crime movie,
Yeah.
with George Clooney and all your favorites, like you'd be like locked
Mm,
in. But this phone call is like that because it's
it is.
real.
The guy even sounded scared a little bit. He was like, hey, if we don't do this,
Yeah.
like my life might be in jeopardy.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, it was
I
like
don't want to turn my ignition and have it go kaboom, I
yeah,
think were his exact words.
the people that say that she sounded like she knew there was a setup and she was talking as if she knew it was recording. Well, yes, because she was recording it, but like,
Sure.
don't focus on that. Focus on what this guy sounded like. Because when
Yeah.
she said something like, hey, Jeff, you should go public with this, his
Yeah.
immediate, his, it wasn't even a millisecond. He was like, whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah.
whoa,
Not
whoa.
today, Satan.
Oh, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no,
Woo.
no.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, one Mississippi, two Mississippi. No,
Yeah.
no, let's not do that. It was like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. He was
Yeah.
like, he had his kids on his mind all of a sudden. Like, my
Yeah.
kids are gonna be in the car when it blows up.
For sure.
So, like, there's
I
no
do carpool,
focus.
bitch. What?
Like, yeah, as much if you're that person that wants to focus on the tone of her
Yeah.
of her in that conversation, that she seems like she knows it's recorded.
Yeah.
Focus on him because he seems scared,
Yeah.
and he asks
Yeah.
her, "What's your number?"
Bro. It's gonna be the fucked up part about everything,
I
every
like her.
single thing is like it's gone. Like it's like a speed bump. You're just like over it, over it. Like you're just
It's coming
it's
fast.
gone. Yeah, it's everything is so fast.
Yeah, it's like I think the speed bump analogy is if you're going fast, it feels violent, but it's also like a millisecond. You're just driving on smooth road again. Everything's good.
Yeah,
It's like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
yeah. Did Nikki Haley get fucked in the back of an SUV? Maybe. Maybe she did. Maybe she did. We
It's
don't
quite
know.
the transition you just made right there. Good Lord.
I don't even know if I want to talk about her because she's about to
A
like just
no
get
lip monster.
she's about to get fast forwarded through history.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like she seems kind of important for a
yeah.
minute now, but like I'm pretty sure in a year from now she's gonna be like, remember that lady named like that had a weird name or something
It's
that
gonna be
that
the one
different.
that saw Alaska from her house.
Yeah, she's gonna be a lot. Yeah, be like, yeah, that governor from South Carolina that saw Alaska from her front porch and
Her
or saw
backyard.
Russia from her backyard and had a kid
That's
named
what it
Skipper,
was.
Rama John McCain or something like that. Yeah, she's gonna be put in that
Are
dustbin.
you talking about what's her face, Sarah?
Sarah McPalin.
Huckabee? No, is her dad
Sarah.
the one that
Oh yeah, Sarah
was a not
McHucker
patriot?
Palin.
Oh my God.
I feel like all
Okay.
these weirdos need like their own trading cards so that we
I think
could.
people are starting to realize like that. Yeah, these are all just like these are like pro sports players that get like picked.
Exactly.
They're like first round draft picks or big buzz and they bust. Like they just get tossed out after a few years and no one remembers them anymore. Like
Right.
Okay.
people are starting to look at politics like ESPN.
Speaking of sports,
Huh.
can we talk about Alyssa Milano doing a GoFundMe?
Why would she do that to
Well,
those boys?
why
Like
would she do
kids?
that? Like she's crying in her daughter's bed and
Weeping,
GoFunding
no
her.
less. She could do both at the same. She could weep while making a GoFundMe.
It's so embarrassing.
She got
Why would she do
destroyed.
that?
She got really destroyed. I'm
Good.
really curious of her
I'm not on the
explanation.
X.
Like
Because people would be like, "Oh, look, Alyssa Milano needs to send her kids to a baseball tournament. Let's donate our money to her kid."
but it's like
She would
it's
hope to
so
leverage her star power, and
it
She should
takes
be
you
sending that whole team. Like
it
they should be
takes
wearing the little Sabrina the Teenage Witch stuff or whatever
it
she
literally
did.
takes you 0.45 seconds for Google to tell you that she's rich.
right.
That her
And they want to save
husband's
money. It's
like
like that's
she
how the
There's
rich
so
continue to
many.
be rich.
she's
To
not
stay.
rich from like the
Who's the
uh,
boss?
yeah, she's not rich from that. Her husband's like a player, like in Hollywood, like Hollywood player, executive.
Oh, I thought
Really?
you meant he
So
was
it's
like a
like
playboy or something.
no, it's just like he's a
Fuck
Hollywood
her.
executive, like at CAA or some
She's
big
our
time
Oprah.
agent,
I
whatever.
hope they Oprah
So
her. I
it's like
hope they just drag her.
she's not rich from Who's the Boss and I don't know what else she did, like 90210 maybe. I don't know what she did, but yeah, she's just Hollywood
No, she
rich.
did like a witch show. Like she was like a witch on
Oh,
a
Oh,
witch,
Charmed was
like
it?
a three.
Charmed,
Yeah, she was
Charmed.
on Charmed, and they don't like her. The other crazy one, Rose McGowan, not a
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, that's not. But it took like like everybody's just like, lady, you're rich. Like your husband's this, that. Like your husband's got his photo on the on a website of like a major
Yeah,
like Hollywood
what the fuck
something
up.
something like
Why are you doing that? Like, why wouldn't she be the
yeah.
one that's like on the down low, like
Most
making everybody have great uniforms and
I
bringing
really
like
want to know
snacks?
because most people are like angry, but I'm like, I'm really curious. Like, I really want to
Yeah,
know, like, why would you do
funny,
this? Like,
weird.
you're only trying to raise $10,000. Like,
What?
why would you subject your children, like your child and everyone
Um,
else on this team to
Oh,
this?
imagine the kids going to school the next day. It's like, ah, your family's poor. They had to make a
Really?
GoFundMe.
Yeah,
Why
like
don't you get out of here, you fucking charity sat sack?
and that kid's like, no, my dad's got 4 Oscars. I'm rich.
Shut the
I
fuck
look
up.
Because
at
your
my
This is
kids are probably going to school with like the Kardashian kids. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
the
Like they're
Kardashian kid's
probably
like
at
on
like
his like
fun.
showing his kid, like he's showing his friends his bank account on his iPhone, on his like gold
Yeah.
platinum iPhone, like
Northwest
crystal
is like
encrusted.
his classmate.
He's like, no, I'm rich. I promise you, I'm rich. I'm serious. Look at my Bitcoin. And like the kids was like,
Yeah.
you're poor, you're poor.
Yeah.
The internet
Yeah.
said you're poor.
Yeah. Jennifer Lopez is my mom, so fuck off.
Like, no.
Uh,
Yeah, it's gotta be, as A. Smith says, it's gotta
weird
be a rough time to be like a ultra rich celebrity.
for
Cause it's like,
sure.
you never know. Like you're gonna wake up in the morning, they're gonna just everybody's gonna be like, you're poor. You're like you're just like, what? And then you're gonna say, like, no, I'm not poor, and everybody's gonna yell at you like, oh, you're a rich scumbag. You're like, what?
You
Can't
You
win
can't
with
can't
win
these
you
on this
people.
cannot
one.
win. You cannot
There's
win.
no winning.
Yeah,
There's no winning.
people are the average person has become so unhappy with their life.
Yeah.
And
You're fucked. Damned
you-
if you do, damned if you don't.
Pretty
oh, you're
much.
born 50 years too late.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you were rich like 30 years ago, you could be like hanging out with Bill Clinton and Bill Gates and Jeffrey
Heck
Epstein, but
yeah.
nope, not now.
Of all people to mention, Christopher.
Not now.
You guys.
What?
Okay, just because of the Epstein, you just said Bill Clinton, so I automatically think about Epstein.
That's like
I
man,
said
that's
both
your
of them.
word.
I
But
said both of them, to be fair.
my husband literally cannot grasp the Stephen Hawking's, like, he won't hear it. Like, he's like, stop talking to me. And I was like,
Is he a huge
what is
Hawking
your,
fan or
what is,
what?
like, what is your love fest with Hawking? Like,
Hasn't
he's
he
like,
seen the
no.
memes?
And then I showed him, there's like a Helen Hunt movie where she fucks like a guy, a paraplegic. And I told you that, like, I know a guy that's like he's paraplegic and he's constantly seeking people. And he's like, no, he refuses. Like, I have never seen anything like this. He's like, absolutely not.
Is he?
So
Absolutely not.
his strategy is just to block it out.
He won't. I'm like,
I
babe,
mean, because
I said, baby,
I'm
I
being very
have
honest. It's
pictures.
like I
I've
respect that.
seen him. He's like laying in a lounge chair and there's young girls in a bikini like stroking him. He's like, no. I said, baby. He's like, I'm not gonna believe that he is like paraplegic and wants to fuck kids. And I was like, one has nothing to do with the other.
This is really sick because it's very troubling because it's
Mhm.
like the man, Stephen Hawking, would be physically unable to force himself on anyone. However, there are people
Okay,
around him that are
but
in
Christopher,
some way physically able to force those women to do.
Christopher, you're of an age where you remember when Stephen Hawking had an interpreter. And if you're not of that age, you can Google it. At one point, Stephen Hawking had an interpreter where he would be like,
Oh yeah, I've seen that movie.
and there would be some dude that would be like, he wants to fuck kids. You know what I mean? Like, so yes, it's possible that maybe
That
he
was not in the
wasn't
movie.
into
That
it.
was not in that
That
movie
was
with
in the
that
director's
lady.
cut.
Oh, okay. It's like
I'm
a
just
Brian
saying.
Singer. It's a
I'm
Brian
just
Singer edition of
I'm
this.
just
Yeah.
saying that like he had an actual dude that apparently understood his sounds and interpreted them into things.
What if he was
So
just? What if he was just really mad at him and was just like, "I'm gonna ruin this guy's reputation and start
Yeah, man.
interpreting bullshit." What if it was that?
If you're a
that's
paraplegic, you better just keep your mouth shut. Like keep your goddamn tongue off the keyboard. Fingers, tongue, straw in your mouth, keep it off the keyboard. Don't become friends with Bill Clinton. That's that's number one.
Mhm.
Do not become friends with Bill
oh
Clinton
my god.
or Jeffrey Epstein because they'll wreck
Never
your
get on a
reputation.
plane.
They'll wreck
Obviously, you
your,
should get on a plane anyways. Like
but you
doors
can't
are
even
flying off.
decide
Like
what
never get on a
you
plane.
but he's got the perfect defense. He's like, I cannot decide whether I get on this plane or not. And the judge is just like, says who? And he's like, I'm
I
literally,
don't blame him. I blame the
he's like, no,
interpreter.
if you're Stephen Hawking, you're just like, I'm literally communicating with you. Like, I'm not like, you're reading it. I'm reading a transcript because he's literally communicating with a judge with a straw in his mouth, like touching a keyboard.
No, he's not real. He's a plant. Like,
Oh yeah.
why do we all fall for
Okay.
that?
That sounds that's a lot easier explanation. Let's be honest.
Why did we all fall for this? Like
It's
the
real
interpreter wasn't
strange.
even reputable. He had fucking highlights. He had blonde highlights. The interpreter was in no way reputable.
Stephen
Google
King.
it. Manny.
Huh.
Google it.
All right, hold on. I'll look it up.
Stephen King's interpreters?
Hawking.
He's not
Oh yeah. Oh, I get those freaking weirdos mixed up.
exactly. Thank you.
Stephen Hawking had an interpreter with tips, with highlighted tips, with highlights.
Yep.
Oh, that's
He
a
did.
problem. This adds to the
He did.
mystery.
Let's see. Anyway, don't stop talking to my. You guys keep on going.
No,
I'm
we should
fun.
go. We should go to
Yeah,
bed.
I'm
Christopher's
like
got us
all
on
kinds of.
fire. His mind is blown. I just
I got to
blew
do
his
some
mind.
research. I wouldn't mind if you could remind me about these things tomorrow.
Yeah, just listen back. Listen back. You'll be one of our downloads.
Stephen
Download it.
Hawking, assistant secretary highlights. These
Yeah.
Google searches are going to get me in trouble.
You know what? Go on to DuckDuckGo. I learned that from Adam and Drew this week. They had to go on to DuckDuckGo to get some real
DuckDuckGo does
numbers.
not. DuckDuckGo lost. They got crushed last year, I think, because they came out and basically said Oh, you got to look that up. I don't know what they said. I don't want to misspeak here, but
Why
they
not?
told on
That's what we
themselves.
do.
They
Why
told on
wouldn't
themselves last year.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know, but it was on Adam and Drew this week.
DuckDuckGo came out and made a statement that they thought was going to be heroic, but everybody's just like, "What? You mean you're going to just roll over and do whatever
Yeah.
they say?" And they were like, "Uh,
Pretty much.
yeah, but no, that's not that. We didn't really mean it that way." But it's like it was crushing.
Okay. Well,
They're
maybe
gonna
not that, but
they're not going to protect you from being on a list.
for sure. Well, we're already on a list, so because
I
you
mean, just
shop
for
at
the show
Bass Pro
alone.
Shop and I
Mhm.
never stop talking about Hillary Clinton and Pizzagate. So my daughter said
Yeah,
to me the other day,
you
she
do
said,
put
Mom,
pizzas in quotes a
she said, I
lot.
can't believe you have an Alexa. Like she's hearing everything. I was like, do you think my iPhone isn't? Like
I
I
would
may
like to
as well
know
have immediate music like on demand.
if you go into a restaurant and you order pizza, if you do air quotes.
I do.
He's just
I
like, I would
do.
like the large pepperoni pizza.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not coming up with anything about the man having an interpreter.
All right. I'll find it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you got to
not
search
wrong.
in
I remember it. I
interpreter
saw it with
with
my own lying
highlights with
eyes.
tips with frosted tips.
Yeah.
Be more specific in your search.
All
Stephen
right.
Hawking. I'll find it. I'll
All
find it.
right.
I'll put it up right now. I have
Well,
no
we got
problem
through
with
like
that.
2 things on the list tonight. It was pretty good.
That's okay. The list is just like a bumper. Like if you're bowling, it's just like, oh, we can talk
It's
about
just to
this. We
keep
can
us
talk about
in,
this
Peripherals, yeah.
just to keep us in line.
Fair.
to keep us in line. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be like check, check, check. Shit's coming so fast. Like, how are we
It
ever
really is.
gonna
Yeah. We had to do like a
like
daily show to like keep up with all the nonsense.
But then
man,
again, are you
our
really
lives.
willing to do a daily show,
No,
Christopher?
I
Is
don't have
that
that kind of energy.
Yeah.
No, don't care
that's why we
enough.
just reunites for
And
the
I only
people
drink
once a
on
week.
Friday nights, so I
I
couldn't
think it
drink every
works the
night.
best that
My
way, to
liver
be
wouldn't take
honest.
it.
That's a lie. All right, everybody. With that lie, we're gonna call it a night.
Get it on and do what you want, everybody.
What you want? Get it on.
Dos Vidania.
Appreciate the support.
Uh-oh.
Catch y'all next time.
Cheers, everybody.